into a conflict or into challenging conversation with your partner, and maybe you even ignited it or started it or brought it up, and then it quickly kind of escalates or spirals into like a full-blown fight. I'm sure we all have. I know I've been there many times. And I remember when I was newly with my husband, I'm pretty sure at the time we were not married, getting into these fights with him and knowing that like I was in the wrong, or I was out of line, or I started something in a way that wasn't really productive. But I hadn't had any of this training yet. I hadn't, gone into grad school and became a therapist. So I would just stay in it. I remember thinking in my head, well, you're in it. Go. And it never ended well. Like it just never got to a place where we had some good resolution or process. So fast forward many years later, and what I have learned and a tool that I have implemented and that I give to my couples is a tool that we call repair. So repair is when you are in the midst of either getting kind of deep into the conflict or kind of early on into what is probably going to be a conflict, and you're able to throw out what we call a repair attempt. So it could be anything like, you know what, I think I started that off really harshly. I'm going to try that again. It could be, hey, I'm feeling really defensive, and I think it's because what I heard felt critical, and this is how I took what you said. Is that what you meant? It could be you're kind of talking, and instead of just giving your point of view, you kind of stop and say, I think I'm understanding where you're coming from, and then kind of give a summary of that and ask, like, am I getting that right? So that you're not ratcheting it up, taking it to the next level. The other repair attempt is recognizing that you're flooded and going ahead and calling a timeout, and then intentionally self-soothing. So there are ways in which that you can stop the conflict from going into a much more heated and escalated place. But that requires you to be more mindful. It requires you to know that you have entered into process, and that in order to get out of process, you're going to need to put in a repair attempt. You may realize, I'm kind of in the wrong here, and I need to back this up because I don't want it to get to this really negative place. So it takes mindfulness. It takes some serious practice as well. And the only way to practice is to start practicing, right? So like when you start to notice that you're in this place, like think about, what can I say right now? What it would be something I could say that could try to repair this? And it might start with, I feel overwhelmed. Can we take a break? That's a great place to start. It could be, I think we're getting off track. Can we back it up? Because I'd like to know what feelings or what is the issue so that we can maybe talk about this in a more productive way. And all of that is really hard when you're escalated, which is why all of these tools, while they're very simple when I say them to you, are actually quite hard in the moment. Because in the moment, physiologically, it becomes very challenging, if not impossible. So trying to put out these repair attempts as early as possible is going to give you the best result. If you wait until you're yelling and screaming and walking away from each other, it's going to be really hard. You're going to need to probably take the break, self-soothe for some time, and then come back together. And if you start to get escalated again after you come back, that might be a good time to try a repair attempt. And people say to me, or ask me a lot, like, you must have a perfect marriage. Is your marriage perfect? Right? Because I'm a therapist, my marriage is magically perfect. And what I do say is no. First of all, I explain these tools and techniques and help people manage conflict for hours a day, and then I come home and I still mess up. But I am really good at repair. I am really good at checking myself and realizing what I'm doing and coming back and saying, okay, hang on, I think this is actually what I'm trying to say. I was just really frustrated. I have the kids yelling, or I have this going on, or whatever. I'm able to kind of identify there's all these external factors, and I wasn't able to breathe and pause before, but now I'm going to do that. So I'm able to, I'm sure likely because of what I do, to realize you are getting into process. You started up harshly. Like, I know. I can't unknow all of the things that I've learned. So I do have a really, I'm pretty strong in that skill set of repair, which really helps. It helps Charlie and I from having really big escalated fights. We don't, we can get frustrated. We have a lot of humor. We have a very full emotional bank account, and we are both very good at repair. And that helps tremendously. So something that you can work on is when you're getting frustrated, when you notice you're heading into process and things are starting to ratchet up, can you put out a repair attempt? And it's equally as important that if you're on the receiving end of that repair attempt, if you see your partner, hear your partner trying, that you accept it. That you say, okay, yeah, let's start over. Instead of getting into ego and being like, nope, I'm mad, you've made me mad, and now I'm going to fight this out. So if a repair attempt is coming your way, accept it, because I promise you, it will always turn out better than if you didn't. You might win the fight, but it's a lose-lose. It's always a lose-lose when someone wins the fight. There's no other way to say it other than that. So attempt a repair attempt, and accept a repair if it's coming your way. All right, good luck with all of that.